Have you ever watched something that made you pause for a second and think, no, there's no way they actually had the guts to animate that? I'm not talking about a violent fight scene or some heavy drama. I'm talking about a scene where the heroines face off against a giant ghost made entirely of poop. A battle that involves no punches or swords, but rather a war of vomit, snot, and other fluids YouTube probably wouldn't let me name. And by the end, the entire city is covered in a questionable brown layer. If that image filled you with profound disgust and you're already looking for the dislike button, honestly, you can just click away now. This content isn't for you, and that's totally fine. We'll catch you in the next one. But if a wry smile crept across your face, if a part of you thought, okay, that's ridiculous, I have to see it, then stick around. You've passed the test. We need to talk about Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt. So what's the story behind this glorified filth? The official premise is this. Two angel sisters, Panty and Stocking, are kicked out of heaven for bad behavior. Their mission is to hunt down ghosts terrorizing Earth to collect heaven coins and buy their way back in. But let's be honest, that premise is just an excuse. It's the cocktail napkin where Studio Gynax scribbled down the permission slip to create the most anarchic, incorrect, and unapologetically crass show in its history. To understand Panty and Stocking, you need to understand Gynax. This is the studio of chaotic geniuses that gave us Evangelion, the madness of FLCL, and the epic scale of Gurren Lagann. It's a studio that built its reputation on a single rule: to break all the rules. They looked to the United States, took the cute and colorful aesthetic of the Powerpuff Girls, and asked themselves, what if we took that and injected it with anarchy, alcohol, and a completely out-of-control libido? The result is both a love letter and a middle finger to Western cartoons, all at the same time. It's a satire so acidic it feels like it could burn through the screen. But a chaotic anime needs agents of chaos, and here we have a main trio that is the very definition of dysfunctional. First, we have Panty, the older blonde sister and the personification of lust. Her goal in life isn't to get back to heaven, it's to sleep with 1,000 men. She's not looking for the love of her life, she's looking for the guy for the next 5 minutes. But the funny thing about Panty is that, underneath all the superficiality, she's surprisingly competent. She's an elite sharpshooter, and when things get serious, she's the first to act. Her weapon, the pistol backlace, made from her panties, is the perfect tool for her personality: fast, direct, and no frills. Next up is Stocking, the younger, gothic sister and the personification of gluttony. While Panty is hunting for men, Stocking is hunting for her next dessert. She's cynical, bored with the world, and the only thing that gets a rise out of her is a lack of sugar in her blood. But she's also the smarter and more strategic of the two. Her katanas, stripes 1 and 2, made from her stockings, reflect her personality: precise, sharp, and deadly. She is the personification of dry humor, the anchor of sarcasm that keeps the show from exploding into pure idiocy. And who tries to bring order to this chaos? Reverend Garterbelt, a man of God with a gigantic afro who yells their missions at them. But don't be fooled. He's the most corrupt and bizarre authority figure you'll ever see. A holy man by day who, let's just say he has some very specific and painful hobbies at night. Garterbelt is a walking critique of hypocrisy, the figure who should be a moral guide, but is as much, if not more, of a sinner than the two of them combined. Oh, and then there's Chuck, their pet. A green creature, part dog, part zipper, who dies horribly in almost every episode, only to come back in the next one as if nothing happened. He's the Kenny from South Park of this universe, a cosmic punching bag. The episode kicks off in typical fashion: chaos. We learn right away that Dayton City is literally located somewhere between heaven and hell. A ghost is terrorizing the city. And who's the villain of the week? A monster made of excrement. The creature's origin story? Some guy who kicked the bucket while on the porcelain throne, doing a number 2. His soul was so outraged that it turned into a giant sewage monster. Yeah, the writing is rock bottom, and that's exactly why it's so good. The sisters arrive at the crime scene in their stylish military jeep. Panty couldn't care less about the mission. She's more concerned that there aren't any cute guys around. Meanwhile, Stocking is scarfing down a cake that must have about 5,000 calories. Their dynamic is incredible. They hate each other, but they love each other. It's sibling dynamics in a nutshell. Then the creature shows up, and dude, the design is ridiculous. It's literally a mountain of crap with eyes. They try to attack it in their normal forms, but it does no damage. The monster starts flinging, well, its raw material all over the city. It's disgusting, it's fast, and the cartoony animation makes it all the more bizarre. And this is where the magic happens. The moment every fan waits for. Forget the Cartoon Network art style. Out of nowhere, the anime turns into an absurd electronic music video. The art style shifts to a super detailed, glossy anime look. They do a mid-air pole dance, shedding their clothes. It's pure, in-your-face Gainax fan service. Panty takes off her panties, which turn into a firearm, the backlace. Stocking takes off her stocking, which turns into two katanas of light, the stripes. It's so damn stylish. There's no way you don't get hyped at this moment. They switch back to the cartoon style and go after the big turd. The action is frantic, with quick cuts and crazy camera angles. Stocking slices the creature up like it's sushi, and Panty finishes it off with a few well-aimed shots. The monster explodes in a shower of... yeah, let's not get into the details. Now, let's talk details. First, did you guys catch the references? The episode's English title, Excretion Without Honor and Humanity, is a direct parody of a classic Yakuza film called Battles Without Honor and Humanity. These guys are cultured even when they're making toilet humor jokes. Another thing that shows up in this episode is Chuck, that green, zipper-like creature. He's the mascot who does nothing but suffer, kind of like Claptrap from Borderlands, but mute. And we have to talk about the aesthetic. The director, Hiroyuki Imaishi, who later founded Studio Trigger and made Kill la Kill and Cyberpunk Edgerunners, is experimenting with everything here. The neon colors, the thick lines, the lack of outlines in some scenes. It's a love letter to American cartoons, but with a Japanese otaku soul. And of course, the episode establishes that Panty is the brute force and lust, while Stocking is the smart but gluttonous goth. The perfect balance of chaos. In the end, they manage to destroy the ghost, and it drops a heaven coin. Is Garterbelt happy? Sort of, but they also destroyed half the city in the process. You think rush hour traffic is bad? That's because you've never ridden shotgun with Panty. If the first part had us dealing with a giant turd, now things are getting all fast and furious. Except, instead of family, we have two psycho angels and a car that defies every known law of physics. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to hit the gas with the first episode's second segment, Death Race 2010. Buckle up, because the airbags in this car definitely don't work. For those who don't know, Panty and Stocking follows that classic American cartoon format, like Cow and Chicken or SpongeBob SquarePants. Two short 10 or 12-minute episodes in a single block. And in this one, Gainax decided to pay homage to trashy 70s race movies. It's basically Death Race meets Wacky Races, but with a lot more swearing. The story is simple and straight to the point, just the way we like it. Some delinquent ghosts are street racing in Dayton City. And who are the villains? Two creatures that look like they crawled straight out of a nightmare from the creator of Ren and Stimpy. The design is ugly, it's dirty, it's wonderful. Garterbelt sends the girls to stop these maniacs. They hop into the see-through, which is the name of their absurd pink military Humvee. And man, the dynamic here is fantastic. Panty behind the wheel is a public menace. She doesn't just want to stop the ghosts, she wants to humiliate them. She's screaming, taking shortcuts, and running over everything in her path. Meanwhile, Stocking is in the passenger seat, bored, filing her nails, eating candy, complaining that the car is too bumpy. That's literally me when my mom is stress driving. The chase turns into a game of chicken. The ghosts are coming down the wrong way, and Panty is heading straight for them. A collision is imminent. And then, my friends, comes the transformation. Yes, again! And it never gets old! The music swells, the art style shifts to that gorgeous anime look, and they transform inside the car at high speed. Panty pulls out backlace, the panty gun, I'll never get over that, and Stocking draws the stripes. They're not going to swerve, they're going to go right through them. The final scene is pure Trigger/Gynax style. They accelerate. Stocking uses her katanas to slice the ghost car in half lengthwise, and they drive right through the middle of the explosion. The comedic timing and stylized violence are perfect. All right, time for the nerdy deep dive. The title, Death Race 2010, is an obvious reference to the cult classic film Death Race 2000 from 1975, which later got that remake with Jason Statham. But what I find brilliant here is how the animation changes to convey the feeling of speed. They use a lot of smear frames and action lines to make it feel like the car is going 200 miles per hour, even though it's a simple 2D cartoon. And notice Brief, the geek boy, making a cameo or getting thrown aside. The running gag of him being an NPC who just gets screwed over starts getting built up here. He's basically the universe's punching bag. The verdict? This segment is short, crude, and fun. It's a little action-packed filler to cleanse the palate after the poop episode. It shows that the anime knows how to do a vehicle action scene better than many Hollywood movies out there. Do they get the coin? They do. Is Garterbelt happy? Nope, because the traffic fines must be higher than the city's GDP.